base and not die. As a 5 position, you know, maybe you're like 0 to 15 Crystal Maiden supporting your 10 to 0 Shadow Fiend. You're not going to know your Shadow Fiend can go hit that because you feel bad. You think, if I hit that, I die. So the 1 and 2 Sora has to do that.
Okay, very interesting. Our draft is upon us. We already have our first pick, 4 bands in the bag as well. Newbee this time have gone Legion Commander first pick.
It's a very solid hero. When you see that hero, you know like lanes are just going to be tough.
What do you make of the bands for Liquid?
They swapped out the Nyx for the Legion, I guess. I think they recognized that was a pretty big problem hero for them. Perhaps Liquid thought they were going to get the Legion themselves, since again it's Newbee with first pick, so they may have anticipated another CM opening, but this likely means Liquid get a CM +1. But Doom for now.
Whoa, Doom first phase.
Doom Tusk. Okay. Welcome to 2014.
Well, it is a lot of team fight. It's a lot of run at them team fight, I guess. Like Doom will run in, you have this Sigil and Shards, like just messing with your pathing and your ability to move. I really like the Nyx ban from Team Liquid. If you look at some of Newbee's past games, it's always been a hero that has been valued on the team. Maybe not specifically at this tournament, but they have very good Nyx players, plural. So it's always good to ban a hero like that.
And it opens up the mid pool a lot more.
Yeah,
for Miracle. It's one of the heroes you're just like, ugh, not Nyx.
Kind of like Invoker, Tinker, whatever. Something not really an option.
OD, Ember, also. Like both those heroes just don't want to play versus it.
It is funny. I think you mentioned it earlier. I don't know if it was Ben or Gods, but Liquid are playing outside of the meta a little.
That was
And when
Parker.
you, when you look back on the last few months of top heroes picked, Matumba Man, for instance, Lone Druid, Timbersaw, Necro, Lifestealer, Nagasone.
Oh yeah, we could see Necro.
Top 5 most played.
Has Necrophos been picked yet?
Nope.
I don't think he's been
Not
picked at all.
once.
Nope.
Don't trust Ben.
Nope. I checked.
Maybe.
I was pretty sure I checked.
To be honest, what I'd like to see him from in this game is the Lycan. I think that's a hero that Matumba Man has played a lot in the past, and he's very good at it. That hero seems really strong to me.
Was banned second phase, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Okay.
First game.
Because this game, it's Legion versus Lycan's a very weird matchup. At first, you think Legion will be to lock down the Lycan, but what happens is Lycan's first 2 talents are like HP talents, and he just naturally has a very high strength gain. So sometimes you can't duel and kill him. And the other thing is, if you duel someone else and Lycan howls at nighttime, sometimes you just can't finish the duel and they'll turn it around on you.
Yeah, it was banned second phase last time.
Here's the
by Newbee.
ignored heroes. Curtis.
Oh, nice. I think Newbee should ban out the Lycan if they banned it out last game, though.
Yeah. There we go. 2 games in a row they ban out in the second stage. Doesn't block that pick.
Yeah, they've identified that one.
They're picking Juggernaut because it's very hard. What Tuskar gives you, similar to other roamers, is a lot of kill pressure on multiple lanes. Juggernaut's one of the heroes that's very hard to kill with Tuskar. You know, you snowball him, he's just going to spin. Also, the healing word versus Doom is very good. We saw in the last game, heroes would survive solely because of that healing word, even though you would get the Doom on them or other spells on them. The Naga, man. Red Eye.
Slightly sad.
Wait, are you sad because fantasy points are
I
happy 'cause
am.
no
Fantasy
Naga?
points are just suffering right now. I need now a 3rd game, so go Liquid.
Did you pick Miracle as your mid?
I did.
Because then it doesn't work. Because then if GH plays core, then Miracle plays support.
Yeah, but then he gets points from the other games.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably. I think you want a core that plays core all the time.
I think you're probably right. I've probably messed that one up, haven't I?
How to win duels.
Yeah.
First Dazzle.
And it's 2 physical damage heroes versus Dazzle. So Dazzle, if you weave your Doom, that's when he can really run in. I think Dazzle Doom has been a pretty common combination for a long time in Dota. And the answer is he can run in, but he has to run into a Warlock Fatal Bonds.
I think that's where if you're Newbee, you almost have to go back to one of those magic damage mids. Like, I mean, the Shadow Fiend is banned, but it almost feels like you want the Lina, the Ember type hero for the mid lane for SCC.
I think
She would be fine with. More than fine with. Go back for the Spectre, okay.
Vector again.
Invoker Legion, that's always a good combo.
Yeah, I like the Invoker too.
Actually, you know what? That's a good point. There is a lot of heroes on the board left for him, isn't there?
Yeah. What they need is something with a lot of burst, because Juggernaut almost actually sort of burst, but it's not. Sometimes it's not reliable burst because there'll just be other units there. Warlock is a hero that doesn't really have any burst, to be honest. He amplifies a lot of AoE damage with Fatal Bonds. He gives you a lot of team fight with Upheaval and Rock, but he's not bursty, and you need that for a Legion Commander. You need to be able to burst that target down.
They also just don't have any like catch really. right? It's just LC ult, Warlock ult. How do you actually catch people?
I think you generally want something so that you can play off like maybe Legion showing in a lane so your other catch can get them, and then your next gank, your other catch shows in a lane and Legion will catch them. That's like the easiest way to make ganks. Because what happens when you only have one catch is they see them for a second on the mid-map and they know they're safe. They feel so good farming.
Again, we see Liquid like save that mid pick for last though, so they'll be able to see the entire kind of lay of the land before they pick Miracle's hero.
I like the Ember pick. I mean, some people, core Doom I don't think is as good a counter to Ember as support Doom. I think support Doom was countering Ember for a bit because you would get the purge creep and sort of run at him mid, but Ember is probably the hardest hero to Doom in the game.
Yeah.
He has like 10 ways to make it like cancel the animation.
What about Puck? I remember we had that discussion where Puck's like, I'm leaving. I'm just straight up quitting if Puck gets doomed. I forgot what event it was.
That's true. Yeah.
After I guess you're right.
Okay.
Puck is up there too.
And you should have left.
Did he get doomed?
No, he didn't get doomed the whole game. It was really funny though.
So I think what Liquid's still lacking is they have the Dazzle to provide the healing for the team fight. They have the Doom to provide the team fight. Tusker's also a decent team fighter, but they don't have anything that really pushes these buildings. I would like to see him at least have something to open up the map. We even saw MC on Doom. He realized how greedy his lineup was. He went for the health talent over the Devour build. I haven't seen that much. I really like the health talent, but I really think that'll help them secure their farm into the mid game.
There we say it.
I wonder if you're Liquid if you just go for that Miracle Invoker. I mean, you talk about pushing towers and also giving them some burst damage. You're in a knockout game in a playoff match. Seems like a good place to go. Perhaps greedy
Big player,
for
big
TA.
game.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a bit worse versus the Ember mid, though. That's my only concern right now. I think people generally think that it's a very skill-based matchup that could go both ways, more depend on your supports or like maybe hitting some level 3 Ember timing.
Okay. Let's get some predictions. We'll go down the road. Gods, we'll start with you.
This time around, I'm going to have to go over to Team Liquid side. I think the TA has been perhaps Miracle's most successful player their tournament. A lot of their wins, he's been on this. He's maybe not got the easiest of matchups, but I think it fits their draft and lineup really well. So, Team Liquid.
All right. Liquid for Gods. Melanie?
I'm gonna go with Newbee. I think their team fight's a little bit better. I think TA is gonna suffer a lot versus the Ember.
Okay. Newbie for Melanie. Howie?
I think Newbee for me as well. I agree. Their team fight just looks so solid. You have the Warlock Rock, you have the Epicenter. There's a lot of AoE in there. I'm just not sure how Liquid plan to go through the early game in a way that they can fight. They have 3 greedy cores, and it didn't work so well for them last game.
Okay. There we go. Predictions done. Let's head back to the arena with our commentary team, where Synderen said in the first game they don't need to be so greedy. They've been greedy again. Will it work for them this time round? 1-0 to Newbee. Is it about to be 2? Let's find out as we head into our second game of our second series.
Thank you very much, Paul. Indeed. Game 2 now between Newbee and Team Liquid. I'm ODPixel. I'm here with Sin. We've just seen the drafts. You were just saying to me, Sin, you feel it's a similar archetype. Surely that's a bad thing for Liquid, or not necessarily?
I would say so. That it is a similar archetype and that it's bad for Liquid.
Okay.
I feel like
You have some worries?
So my words exactly were, this is the same game.
Okay.
And the way I see it, Liquid once again have this very, very greedy lineup that needs a lot of farm. You want Templar, Assassin, and Spectre. This is a very unusual core combination because both of the heroes can't really make that many plays early on and need to farm a lot. You know, a hero like Templar Assassin wants to farm Deso, preferably also farm a Blink Dagger before you really get involved. Spectre, we saw in the last game, and in general, wants to farm up possibly the Radiance. And then your offlaner is the Doom, who is also a kind of greedy offlane. So again, Liquid need a lot of farm. You look over to Newbee. They have a very pressuring offlaner. The Legion Commander will force a lot of attention onto itself. Then their supports, the Sand King can make a lot of plays. Juggernaut comes online early. Ember is a fighting carry who can go in. So again, it's going to be this type of game where Liquid will play keep away and try to pick the right fights. But if they lose some early fights, they will be behind the whole game until it ends. I can't see this game being any different than the first one.
You wouldn't say, is it going to be easier for Liquid or harder for Liquid? Or you really feel it's just going to, we are going to see the same issues
So
as game one?
last game, Liquid had a Treant and a Lion as their supports,
Yes.
which arguably have more play potential than Dazzle Tusk. So Liquid might be even slower and even more quiet early on. It's possible they this time played the safe lane tri-lane simply with their Spectre, because you can't leave Spectre alone against Legion Commander. It's an unwinnable lane. You get destroyed completely. So they have to help Matsu out in this game from a 1. It's a worse matchup than Omni Knight by far. So, like, what are you going to do? Then, let's say you do that. Then mid is Ember versus TA. It's a pretty even matchup, skill-based, timing. Sometimes one guy gets killed by the other, but generally the lane just plays out. And then your safe lane will be Juggernaut versus the off-lane Doom, and the supports of Newbee will be more free to move around from that one. Jugger is generally fine there. He has Healing Ward. If Doom tries to rush with Infernal Blade and Scorched Earth, you generally stay alive. We saw it in the last game. That was that lane, basically. They had Warlock last game as well,
Oh, they did, yeah.
which they went for again. And what was the second support on Newbee last game?
Wait, no,
That
they
was
didn't,
Nyx.
they didn't have Warlock last game. It was Nyx and CM.
Nyx, CM,
You
you're right.
mad,
Never
Well,
mind.
I think there was a Warlock this
Nyx-
morning in your
There
first
was
series.
a-
There was a Warlock in your
earlier
first
today.
series.
You're
yeah.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you see, so Sand King is the Nyx of this game
Yep.
to an extent.
And Warlock is...
Warlock is not the CM of this
No.
game. It's not like a one-to-one
No, it's-
comparison you
no,
can
no.
really make, but it's still that lane support focuses on the lane and brings some team fight later on. So in isolation, the Newbee lineup, similar kind of style. The thing they don't have this time is the Shadow Fiend, and I think that's important because in the last game, the Shadow Fiend really gave them what they needed to take Roshan and push towers.
Yeah, he was their
This
front
time
liner.
it's,
He
this
was
time
their
it's
big one.
harder for Newbee to take
Yeah.
the objectives, and that plays into Liquid's hand of wanting to play slower. I still think their lineup is too slow, so I do favor Newbee again. But considering all of these factors, Newbee Liquid might have a slightly better chance this game. It's about what do you value more? The fact that Newbee are a bit worse at taking objectives, is that more important than the fact that Liquid are a bit worse at finding fights? Because I think Lion did a lot for them in the last game. The Lion and the Treant really
GH made some big plays.
made the lineup come together, whereas this time around, you can't really rely on a Tusk to set up this entire team. Like, if you roll in with Tusk, you die.
I mean, you've got a bit of save with the Dazzle behind you, but at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
if you're saving the Tusk, you're not saving one of your cores in these situations.
Tusk will have to be very careful with using Snowball, especially if he brings his teammates in. There's too much counterplay. You can't really
Yeah.
use Snowball in this game. You're
A
against
Burrow Strike, a Chaotic Offering.
Sand King Stun,
Yeah.
Warlock ulti, even something...
Even Overwhelming Odds.
Overwhelming
Yeah,
odds.
Overwhelming
Slight
Odds.
chains.
Yeah.
You roll in, you die. So they can't really use Tusk this way. I think they need to strictly use Snowball defensively and then try to use the shards to block heroes off and set up fights where Doom can run them down and where TA gets to hit targets. That is it. But to me, this does look... Especially, okay, based on how last game went, in addition to all of these things we just talked about, this might even be as big of an advantage for Newbee as like 75-25 for me. Maybe even more. So we'll see if Liquid pull out some great plays here, but my opinion, difficult game for them.
Let's have a look as we get ourselves into this one. Apologies, of course, for the viewers at home for the slight delay there. But we have managed to get things back underway. Very, very quick tech fix here in the booths in Kiev as we can get on for game 2.
Crowd cheering for Na'Vi.
We should probably break it to them, Sin. It's too cruel. This game, of course, no Na'Vi in sight. Newbee versus Liquid. Newbee with one win already under their belt and a very confident one.
I wonder if Newbee, they can obviously, you know, when you're in these booths, you can't hear really what's being chanted.
Maybe they're like,
but you can hear.
they're behind us, guys.
You can hear like the pacing, and you can hear that there's noise and that people are yelling. So that this Na'Vi might sound like Newbee to them. It's like, oh, the crowd loves us, guys. Let's go.
The Na'Vi effect powering Newbee forward here in this game. And as you said, very much on paper in terms of draft and in terms of what we've seen so far this series, this is going to be quite the struggle for Liquid this game too. They need some star performances. Miracle on his TA, certainly a hero-player combination where we can expect that to happen. Very, very strong roles and heroes for those on Newbee as well. S-Triple-C's Ember, something that is not going to be an easy feat for Miracle to deal with in this mid lane.
This dual lane off lane from Newbee is so strong. The Warlock Legion Commander is crazy because Legion Commander with Poor Man Shield is tanky, has a lot of health, can put a lot of pressure, and then the only thing you don't have in this off lane as Legion is that sustain that Warlock can give you with a Shadow Word. You can just run at the enemy carry and hit him and use overwhelming odds, start trading with him, and then, oh, I need to heal a bit. Sure, I'll use a Tango and a Warlock heal, and oh, we're out of region? Oh, we also have a Shrine. How convenient. So this Liquid tri-lane is difficult to play, I would say. This is not going to be an easy time.
For sure, and I guess, yeah, it forces what Liquid supports to stay up, but they cannot leave Matumba alone against this two, can they?
Absolutely not.
They have to remain on the safe
As a
lane.
bare minimum, Dazzle needs to stay here, but even then, I think that is pretty tough. Bottom lane, Mind Control and Kaka fighting each other a bit here. Mind Control getting the better end of that one. Still level 1 on the Doom. Actually, he is level 2. Skilled Inferno Blade.
Yeah, getting some good levels, actually. Straight up to level 3 already on Mind Control. So getting good XP.
What's the benefit of being able to play that lane 1 on 2 because Warlock is top? So that's the trade-off that Newbee have chosen here. They would rather put the pressure on the Spectre. Completely agree with that. Oh, nice shards here.
Looking to make a go here. I have got the dagger coming through as well. KP will have the Shadow Word ran off, but again, just this movement speed. More than enough to just build a big enough gap to stop Liquid from being able to chase him down.
They still force them out. It's a good play from Liquid. This is what you need to do. They have to do it again because they Shrine. But it's the right idea. When Tusk gets some good shards out like that and they can move in together and then use the Shadow Wave, that is a decent amount of physical damage burst. And Legion doesn't have the greatest armor in the world. Currently sitting on 4 with this, actually only 3 with this 4-man shield.
And GH trying to make the most of that situation of forcing the Newbee off lane out of it by making the movement towards the mid, but spotted out by the ward towards the Dire jungle entry just north of Roshan as he came down from there. So SCCC played it safe, kept himself away from the top half of the lane, and now he's back in, trying to do his best to slow Miracle down, but at the moment Miracle does have the CS lead. 16 for 4 against the 12 for 1. Slight lead for the TA in this situation. I mean, we talked about the inability really for Liquid supports to make powerful movements. Can we expect Newbee to go for some ganks onto the mid lane?
It's possible. Warlock is pretty bad at it.
Yeah, I guess it's down to the Sand really.
Sand kind of has to rotate. It's not too easy for him either. If you get this Boots Lace plus a smoke, he might be able to find an angle. With Flame Guard running, that should be a go.
Yeah, they got the setup from the chains.
Could be a good play here actually for Kaka at this point in time because Doom has retreated out of the lane. And well, Kaka has the choice here. He could also pull. I think both options are good. You want your Sand King to not fall too far behind.
Yeah, and I like that as well from Newbee. They instantly scan just south of their tier 1 mid because the Doom had left the lane, just in case he had a good creep and was looking for the wraparound on the middle lane. So playing it very safe as SCCC. And yeah, there we have it, Kaka's there. So that rotation that we talked about is going to be attempted here by Newbee. They just need the chain set up.
Just got nighttime. Oh, Miracle. Gets a sidestep off. I think he has an idea of what's happening right now. That Flame Guard play could be a hint that assistance is coming in from Kaka. Now Mind Control's going to go down and confirm it. Gonna lay in some good damage into Kaka here. We'll retreat, take the rune. Probably look to get a pull off bottom. This mid play failed. And this early game for Liquid definitely looking better than the last one. The main reason being Spectre is farming freely. It's a lot better start for Matumba Man. The mid lane is even, and Doom is having a good time as well. So far so good for them.
Yeah, wraparound attempt going for Kaka here, who actually comes back in with the 2-man burst stroke. Will get himself to safety back around the sidelines, and with the wraparound for Faith with the fatal bombs, the damage is more than there to get SCCC at double kill. And Sin, as soon as you said it was all looking good, Liquid just had to prove you otherwise.
That was so close. Kaka got the Burrow Strike off with like 10 health and completely changed that around with that stun. If they get the kill on Sand King, they just get out. So, you know, valid attempt, but Newbee clutch in that moment. And these 2 kills for SCC are very, very important.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw him last game in the lane get a single kill, the first blood.
Yeah.
To have 2 this time round. And again, Miracle in a lot of trouble. The chains don't connect.
This is very, very bad if he dies. He TP'd back into the lane.
He's gone, Sind. Liquid struggling even more in these first 5 minutes than in game 1 with those 3 deaths in the mid lane. Newbee, I mean, what is it that's just not working for Liquid in the early games?
I think Miracle should just flat out not be making this move. The problem is you just got ganked mid, you don't have a lane ward, and the enemy team haven't shown their supports again. They haven't shown on another lane, so you can assume that they're waiting there. Especially given that you just died mid, there's a good chance that they have a ward, or that they have a... I don't know if this sentry actually found Liquid's ward. If it did, it's even worse, because then he knows that they just de-ward him and will try for him.
Bottom lane, GH will get a nice roll down to the low ground.
Good snowball.
And,
He is
yeah,
just
be enough
fine.
to save him.
Yeah, this is bad news for Miracle in that mid lane. And what isn't working for Liquid? I think, again, to an extent, at least in this game, it's hard for their supports to find plays. The plays are difficult to execute because this mid lane is not easy to gank for them. We already saw them try. They just need to play very safe. And generally playing safe costs farm, and then you fall behind. But if you draft like this and everyone in their lanes just plays for themselves and just tries to farm, the ganks of Newbee will be successful.
And looking at something that
mind control bottom. This could be scary.
Yeah,
It
they've
is
got
scary.
the Omni and the Strike. That's another kill for Newbee. Great catch potential from Kaka. Had a brilliant game one on the Nyx Assassin. And he himself already proving how active he gets in these early stages. And it's going to be scary for Liquid, what he's able to do with that early beginnings, early involvement in the fighting.
I'm happy to see more Sand King. I think that hero has been underpicked this tournament. I really, really love Sand King in the current patch. I think it's a great hero where it has a better chance of working on support in this patch in comparison to 2 months ago, simply because the game has slowed down a little bit in the earlier stages, where previously it was like super roaming. You wanted like an Earth Spirit, just so you could level 1, pressure really hard, Earth Spirit, Ogre, these kind of heroes. But now that the play has shifted a little bit in this direction, the slightly greedier supports that can still roam are finding a soft spot. Something like Sand King can be a really, really valuable hero, especially because if you get through the early game and it works well for you, the hero just flat out scales better than almost every other support that's picked right now. We've seen Newbee, Kaka is having a good game so far. We saw in the IG series, it was Baboka who played it against Mouse Sports in the 3rd game. Both games really make me believe in this hero for the remainder of this tournament as a good choice.
Smoke up here from Newbee. Invis Rune as well is there for SCCC if he needs it to close the gap, but it may not be required. They already scanned this out. They know mind control somewhere in the trees. Actually still in the fog of war for the moment. Will now reveal himself. And coming in onto the Juggernaut, is it going to be enough damage to bring it down? It doesn't look like it is. Mass TPs from Newbee. They brought KP in, who's looking for even a potential duel would be lovely. The neutral's actually holding them back, so Newbee won't be able to get the catch onto Liquid.
Thanks, Gabe.
So Liquid will save themselves. No one to fall down. Doom and Horn were committed, though, there.
Yeah, I think if you're Liquid, you're pretty happy that your Doom survived. That was actually... He was in such an awkward position, got spotted out by the scan, has TP on cooldown. Newbee missed their stun, they missed their Remnant in, and he just runs in and dooms the Jugger and manages to survive because of that. I mean, if he doesn't get the spin off on Jugger, they kill him there with Spectre, and that is a really, really huge play. But Unine quick on the reflexes and stays alive.
CCC playing around with Miracle. Will be a stun for the snowball coming through for GH.
Uh-oh, GH. He has triple Remnants. Not going for it.
Miracle to Salva. And yeah, not quite the kill potential and control. This is going to be something as well, I feel, as the game goes on. You know, SCCC on this Ember Spirit, where's your catch from Liquid? I mean, you have to doom him. Otherwise, he's pretty much always going to be able to Remnant away.
Yep. That is something they will have to deal with later on. Or they will have to be so strong that they can just
yeah, for sure.
the Ember.
If we see big items on TA, Miracle can certainly do a lot with the Mail Strike as such. Liquid diving very deep on this bottom tower. Mind control almost certainly stuck here as Newbee will surround him. Here's a big old brute, and he is speedy here with the Scorched Earth, but he can't quite cut himself out of the forest. Kaka gets low, but the Shadow Word heal from Faith will keep him alive. They get the successful dueling. GH rolling in. That's not going to be the play that he hoped for. Newbee are a little low on the mana, but they should be able to run the Tusk down as the rest of the team actually, the Shadow the Ember's back to mid. He says, you don't need me.
Run around with him for 30 seconds and duel him. He doesn't have a TP.
Space creating. And there we have it. Newbee getting the second one out of this failed attempt for Liquid to dive the tier 1.
Similar to the previous game when Kuro died with the Treant in mid and they tried to save him with GH's Lion. This time they're diving this tower. This play is really, really unlikely to succeed out of Liquid, and then Mind Control's in a bad position. GH tries to come in and save him, and they end up giving an extra.
I mean, Liquid really, really desperate to find something at this stage of the game. They're smoked up. Doom is available and online. SCCC and Kaka in the mid lane. These traps from Miracle spotting this out so they know of the Sand King's presence. And they may look to just simply move straight in onto him, and indeed they will. They'll drop it all, Horn and Doom, just to get themselves the first kill in the game. Mass TPs for Newbee come through. They'll get the chains, grabbing the Doom underneath the tower with the Remnant Burst and the Jewel. That'll bring the Doom down. Newbee find the kill in return. Miracle has to start backing away. U9 also TPing over to join the fray. So a 1-for-1. Liquid do get themselves a kill on the board, and Newbee get the trade, and KP gets another win with the duel.
Yeah, this Legion Commander is going to get strong in this game as it looks right now. Looking okay on the farm, could probably be better, but he's been TPing around to help players. He saved the Sand King bottom probably with the TP in to press the attack. He just managed to get that kill in mid, and all he's sacrificing for it is a bit of CS, so really liking the movement of KP. Oh, he took a really big nuke there. Dazzle, very nice. Uro, bottom lane.
SCCC's there, immediately onto GH. Will roll away, but already incredibly low and getting run down by SCCC with the Flame Guard. SCCC 4-0-1, soon to be 5-0-1 in the first 12 minutes of the game.
First item Blade Mill on the Ember.
Something a little different, but I guess if you get it this early, it's pretty darn strong against Liquid's lineup.
It's a bit game specific. I think the reason he's opting for it in this game is, first of all, Blade Mail is nice on Ember just to get the mana. The 10 int is actually really valuable for this hero. And as we talked about previously, the only real threat for him is either getting doomed or getting burst. And this Blade Mail is going to help against that burst. Even if they do manage to kill him, he does so much damage in return that he might win the fight. We're going to see what he goes later. He's going to get Boots of Travel now, pretty standard. And then I would imagine Lincoln's will be on the menu for later in his build here. What are Liquid going to do is the question. So Spectre will... Oh, don't have time for that right now. Kaka's being run at.
See if how do Liquid want to go on this step. Got to be a little careful. Kaka being focused. SCCC will be there to cut round and hold back mind control. Omni Slash comes in from U9. Croaky will get the Grave off in time. But again, KP in the right place at the right time. The third duel win this game. 13 minutes in as he turns up to the bottom fight. And yeah, this Legion, we saw it pick first. I mean, you kind of said, you're like, Legion first pick? I guess we're seeing why they do it. They're just so damn good at utilizing it.
Yeah, well, the hero is being rated very high for multiple teams right now. And I think part of the reason that the hero is as successful as it is first of all, it's a good hero, but secondly, some teams are maybe not counterpicking it enough in the games that they give it away. Obviously, Dazzle is a step in the right direction. It's the kind of idea you want to have. You want to have a save against duel. But Grave is not actually that good. Like, maybe you don't lose the duel, but you die after. I mean, your hero still taunts it the entire duration and will get killed. You want a hard disrupt, like Disruption from Shadow Demon, the Banish from OD, maybe something like Omni Knight's Guardian Angel plus Repels. You can keep the target going.
Or just more offensive power so you can win the duel for yourself and utilize it against the Legion.
Yes, but all of that is not really available for Team Liquid right now. They are once again in this position where they need to just go to farm. And more than anything, honestly, I feel like they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a bit with these plays. They're really optimistic and unlikely to succeed. For example, this move that they just had where they snowballed in, they are giving Newbee more kills than Newbee would find themselves, probably trying to make plays that their lineup just isn't ready for.
For Liquid, one thing that they could certainly look towards is for this to be a game where Miracle does something amazing. And he is still top of the net worth board, which is impressive considering how the action is panning out between the two sides. Bottom lane, they'll make for a go on Kaka. They've got the dust, but Kaka quick with the burst strike to the sideline. There's no cancel for the TP, and he plays himself straight out of there. Again, another attempt to find a kill with the Horn that's unsuccessful.
This one isn't too bad for Liquid. They didn't commit Doom, and Matumba Man gets down to a creep wave here that he wants to farm down here right now anyway, so at least it transported him. But again,
it's not. I mean, you really want to be finding kills with these Horns, surely. I mean, Matumba, in terms of farm, he is still behind the other three cores in the game. No, it's not as bad of a situation as he was in Game 1 for sure.
It's a bit similar to Game 1 in another way, though. Like, again, they have a support who isn't level 6 now, 15 minutes in. This Tusk doesn't have Walrus Punch. If he has Walrus Punch, that's probably a kill. But because of these unsuccessful plays and lack of pulling and lack of strong laning, the hero on their side who's high levels is Dazzle. He's been pulling top, he's been laning top and having a good time, but Tusk is falling behind. Previous game it was Treant, who 15 minutes in was also level 5. They're missing utility that they desperately need. In this game, it's actually like their only catch, more or less, who's under level. So it's very, very difficult for Liquid to find plays. I think what they're going to have to do is something like this, where they just smoke up and just run in the Doom. Like, go in.
They have to be so careful how they approach this high ground, though.
This is a
There's
dangerous
a live shrine.
place to
Faith
fight.
has Chaotic Offering.
Oh, this
They're
can't
going to roll
possibly
in.
be
They'll
good.
drop the Doom, but there's the Chaotic Offering onto 3 with the Fatal Boss, the triple red. It's not the play that Liquid need to be making. Newbee punish it with just absolute ease, Cinder. An easy, easy fight for Newbee.
Yeah, again, they're giving them they're giving them opportunities that Newbee wouldn't have found themselves. I feel like, you know, it's frustrating when you're playing a game and you have 1 kill and the enemy team has a lot of kills. You're like, we need to do something. They're getting ahead, but Liquid are actually not looking too bad in this game. Like, in terms of the graphs, they are having pretty good farm on Spectre. They're having good farm in the TA. Doom isn't having the greatest game, but it's manageable. But every time they go for these plays, they give Newbee advantages. This is in sharp contrast for me to a team like IG that we've seen. Oh, well,
They are going to try and get some kills out of this, but the chains are there to hold you back. It's a lot of burst onto Faith, not quite enough. Heals himself up with the Shadow Word. GH tries to get a trap there with the shards. Won't find it initially. Liquid still continues to move forward, but KP turns up with a big, overwhelming ult. The Grave will be there onto mind control, but KP has not committed the duel yet, still unavailable. But they do get the big kill. Jug's down, U9 on the sidelines. Can they find anything else out of this, though, Liquid? They won't quite get the catch on SCCC. Tower will be denied. Miracle getting bursted incredibly low there. KP jumps back in. Doesn't quite have duel yet available, though. So Miracle will survive. Liquid fighting with the minimal amount of health, but they get the objective, albeit a deny, but it's still a tower down at the end of the day, and they do kill Jug.
They do so much damage with Shadow Wave. I think Kuro dealt some of the most damage in that fight. They got the Melt Strike off into Medallion and Shadow Wave. Just insane nuke coming out from the Dazzle. In just that one moment, he kind of just burst down the Juggernaut from half to 0. And that's something we haven't talked too much about for Liquid. They have great minus armor, so Roche is a play for them. The question is, how can they get themselves in a position where they can go for it? They kind of need to find
we have a
decent
as
pick,
well.
but it's not easy for them still to accomplish that.
And the first big burst onto Faith. And looking to get SCCC. That Blade Mail certainly helping him, putting Miracle off from fully committing against the Ember Spirit.
He got Blink Dagger now on Miracle. That's
pretty big. I mean, yeah, as you mentioned, Miracle has still been hitting the timings in this game with everything up against the wall for Liquid. 12 for 2, the lead for Newbee. Miracle with the Blink Deso. If he could start to find these pickoffs, and certainly, as we mentioned before in this game and in Game 1, having that Matumba Man Spectre to join the fray as well.
I think the target now for the way to play this for Liquid in fights is that Miracle tries to blink and burst the Warlock. If he gets a chance to do that before Golem gets dropped, they suddenly have a fight that can play on multiple angles. Oh, there's a duel.
They found themselves the Spectre here. They won't get the dual win, but they get themselves the kill. GH also rolling in once again, a little too late. It's going to be a bit of a bonus prize for SCCC as he picks up the double kill. As Newbee get themselves Matumba very quick after. A little bit of a shining hope was shown for Liquid as they've taken down the Jug. Main Miracle.
Oh, he misses the Melt Strike.
Doesn't get the initial armor reduction.
Anyway, but could have been good damage. Okay, so the point I was trying to make earlier was if you compare, maybe we have to wait.
This could be painful for Liquid. Miracle has to get the hell out of there.
Liquid are actually in a really, really bad position here.
They've just been scanned out as well.
Mind Control needs to TP away from this probably.
Miracle. Oh, he's going to start hitting the H's. Newbee, they're aware that he's around. Kaka finds the initial opening with the Burrow Strike. Haunt will be used. They'll root up Miracle, and TA is out. Brought down immediately. Carrying Offering dropped onto 2. They've got the duel onto Matumba. They get both of the big boys. Miracle and Matumba taken down as Newbee go for a beautiful long wraparound from the river that catches Liquid entirely off guard.
I think now I can make it. Finally. So, the thing I was thinking about in this game is that Liquid are playing a greedy lineup. They need to play slower, and this is where a team like IG has looked way better to me, like in understanding what their lineup can and can't do, should and shouldn't do in the game in order to succeed. Liquid are taking these fights that are so risky and so difficult. Like, again, risk-reward is just not
favoring them. There's a buyback from Miracle. They want to go in for some sort of a big play. GH rolls through, but the Roshan's already fallen. U9 picks up the Aegis. GH, Gravedove trying to get himself out of there. The Doom will manage to bring down Ember Spirit. In return, U9 pops the Omnisax. They've actually managed to break the Aegis immediately. Faith gets taken down by a Bell Strike. This buyback from Miracle could just hold Liquid in the game. They'll look towards U9, who goes for the Blade Through escape, but the Bell is too much. Miracle's not done. He's angry. He wants more. He wants blood. Miracle should get the 4th kill here. Surely KP can't play as well. He can, but it doesn't matter. It's good enough for Liquid. They get the triple kill. Big call to get the TA back in the game, but it absolutely pays off, Sin.
It does pay off, but it's not as big a win as it might look like. The problem is the TA bought back and got all the kills, so he gets like almost no gold bonus because of the buyback punishment. But it's still, it's a good play in the sense that they get rid of the Aegis.
And it's a lot of XP.
It's a lot of experience. They get rid of the Aegis that would have given Newbee an advantage here, so definitely, I would agree it's worth it. For sure to go for this, especially like you said, the experience. You can also check the gold graph. It is a win for Liquid for sure, and they desperately need something like this where they just finally get one fight on their terms, where they're all in a good position to go in together, catch the right targets off guard, and again, the enemy team is in the Roche pit, so here they have favorable position. This is the first fight of the game that Liquid are choosing where they will have an advantage.
I think it's the first fight of the series, Sin.
Yeah, maybe, actually. They had a couple of good fights in the previous game. It was just, they were just too far behind, but like they at least took them on good terms. The draft just put them in a pretty weak position in the game overall, I would say. But here, taking a good fight in the Roche pit, and Miracle coming up big. He is working toward the BKB. There are still counters to him. The problem, this is another strength of Legion Commander, is the taunt that pierces everything. You can, apart from Linken's obviously, the fact that you can go Blink Blade Mail and kill an enemy carry. You can have a lot lower net worth than them and still kill them just by having them kill themselves. The problem is Refraction is actually kind of nice against it, so they need to try to break Refraction first with Ember, and then Legion can solo right after. It's not too easy, but another play that will be available to Newbee just now, and they're actually going to smoke right away with this Blade Mail reveal.
Let's see what they can get here, Newbee.
They
are not happy with that last
Jugger
fight.
with them. This could go bad for Newbee in terms of numbers. They're going to
Let's
epi.
Kaki gets a huge epi, that's the question. Jumps in, immediately bursts there, but the Graves in time for Kuro. Will buy some time from Matuma. The 3-man chaotic offering comes down on their heads. They have lost KP as a 1-for-1. Miracle jumps forward, will make sure that Liquid do end up taking the trade, and this has got to be worrying for Newbee. They look to take the fight, they do get the Spectre kill, but they've given away 2 lives. Maybe even more Faith charge for the TP out. Will Miracle have enough burst in time? Or, I mean, that's going to hurt him. I don't think it's going to kill him, Sin, but it's certainly going to give him a bit of a headache.
Let's have a look.
Let's have a look, Faith. He's shrining up, he's terrified.
Oh, it missed.
Oh, it just, okay, it missed.
Oh, big kill though.
They'll take that instead.
Focusing on the important things here, Owen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff for Liquid. This time around, in my opinion, Newbee are going for a difficult play here. They have the Juggernaut top. Liquid has this information. They can see him on the map. So the moment Newbee engage on them at their tower with 4 heroes and try to kill the Spectre, because of the perfect positioning of Kuro for that Grave, the entire fight was delayed so long that Liquid could just beat them in the 5-on-4 there. And not bringing Jugger to the fights, in my opinion, is just a no-go. If you want to go for a skirmish, sure. But this was a 4-man smoke next to a tower with only Spectre showing. They have to know that there's protection for him.
And also kind of for Liquid as well, I'm sure they'll be looking for as much positive as they can. That was a fight where Matuma was taken down, but he already had the relic, so there wasn't a huge amount of gold loss for the Spectre. And he's already hit that first big hurdle, albeit, of course, it is still at a later stage than he would have potentially hoped, 24 minutes in.
It's not ideal, but the difference in this game, in my opinion, is that Miracle is having a better time than he was in the previous game.
Miracle's starting to get into the groove that Liquid need him to be in.
Yeah, and Kuro is also having a significantly better game. I think his dazzle in this game has been almost perfect. He's been playing a great game. Clutch Grave there in the last fight. He has had a couple of good heal bumps with the minus armor. His itemization, I completely agree with. The start of his laning phase, I completely agree with. Very good plays from him and Miracle in particular in this game for Team Liquid. They will be conceding this top tier too, but it could buy them just the time they need to get this Radiance from Matumba. And in this game, it's pretty different. I think the Radiance is a lot better in this game compared to game 1 because this time there's no Omni Knight on the Radiant side. And I don't even think they have anyone building the pipe builder.
No, there's no hood or pipe being looked towards at the moment from Newbee.
A lot more damage kind of come out from this Radiance. Bad news for them, however, Ember has Linken's, and Blink is close by as well. He will more or less be able to just pick his target and go to town. Only thing he needs to be a little bit careful of is that he doesn't burn all his remnants and then gets jumped by the TA. That could get scary. But yeah, I just love this blade mail pickup from Ember this game, actually. The 10 int, the ability to deal damage back with only Doom really countering you, and the armor it gives against TA are all really great benefits here. Something we've seen as of late being more popular in Ember is getting Shivas. I do think we could also see that come out from SCC later this game.
The armor would be beautiful against Miracle.
Armor against Miracle. Armor is also pretty good against the Spectre. I mean, it's not perfect, but it all adds up. The Shiva is really, really nice against a hero like TA who needs to move consistently and stay on target. Speaking of which, bottom lane, Kaka. Very quick reaction there.
They do spot him out, but no way to cancel the TP.
So fast. He was sensing it. That was some spider senses in that one.
See, the next play for Liquid is, as you mentioned, Radiance is what they want to be finishing, and indeed Jet is picked up. They have the ults at their ready, but so do Newbee. I mean, is it a case if you're Liquid, do you need to be active and hunting, or is it now just waiting for Newbee again to go for these plays where you can turn and punish them?
I think you try to fight, actually, as Liquid now. You want to activate and use the Radiance now that it is peaking as an item, and they're exactly looking for that. They're going to Doom the Sand King. He is super dead here. They don't even need to use Haunt for this play. Liquid taking advantage of good warding here. Kuro with a good aggressive ward. This time they have the information they need to make the play. At the same time, they're pushing in the bottom lane with Templar Assassin, so putting out the pressure here against Newbee. Haunt available, so I like this play a lot from Liquid that they stay in the jungle. They know they have better vision. This kill is big if they can get it on SCC. They need to break the Linkens, however. Not the easiest task.
With the Doom already used as well, it's still very hard. They'll find Faith instead. And of course, this will move the Spectre Matuma man into a position to continue to push. He's actually going to go back up top and put some harassment down onto KP, who is very quick with a TP out of there. SCCC, oh, he's even quicker and smarter on the mind with the bots to the top lane. Realizes Matuma came back on his own, and SCCC, he's a smart boy. He immediately punishes that.
Is Tanking going to complete this? He actually is. He's going to go in for the Tusk here. They know Spectre cannot possibly connect to this fight, and they're just going to try to get as many kills as they can, which looks to be 1 at the current time. But GH, nice blink. Well, okay, not so nice, but he didn't have a choice.
So KP will get the dual bonus out of that one as well. So.
But Liquid are waking up, I feel like.
They are, but it still feels like Newbee are making the better overall decisions there.
Matumba dying here was unnecessary, but apart from that, I really like this play from Liquid. It's the right approach. They go down, they get superior vision, they play the numbers game where they have 4 heroes together and they use the Haunt, and they go in based on the information they need. This play is very different to, for example, the one where they group up as 3 and run in and fight at the enemy shrine. In that fight, they don't have the necessary information. They're in a way worse position, and they didn't have the correct items at the time to take those fights. Now that they've built up their arsenal that they need, they are making one good decision after the other, bar that Spectre death, but they got a tower bottom, they got a key kill, and they're keeping the farming going.
Into Roshan for Newbee, as they look to maintain control around it. They know there's no Haunt, they know there's no Doom. Feeling very confident taking it at this time of the game. So the crest has been complete for Mind Control. So we are going to see...
moment. Doom is still on cooldown for a little bit, so is Haunt.
Yeah, it's a hard fight for Newbee. They've scanned it out as well, so they know that Liquid's on that high ground.
Yeah, they got scared because of this trap drop from Miracle. Very important that he gets this trap into the pit. Of course, they may have countered a previous trap with the sentry that they placed, but him placing a new one gives them very important information, mainly about the current health of Roshan, because Liquid probably want to go for a snipe and just delay them until then. Haunt is available.
Sure, yeah, with this delaying.
This is the most important moment of the game right here.
If they can take this Roshan fight. But it is still a big if. They're a little... Yeah, they're coming towards it now. You've got Miracle leading the way. Now he's going to tag back. Kuroki's going to look forward to get the vision out. There's the Haunt. Jumping from Matumba. GH with the roll across. Gets the stun onto 2. They're trying to take Faith out before he can get the golems down, and they do. There's no chaotic offering available. And now with the Doom as well, laid down onto the Juggernaut. Liquid move across for the second. SCCC quick with the remnant out, but a brilliant way for Liquid to take the fight. They may even get Kako down to the low ground with the Burrow Strike. Full self-fuels to dodge the shards, and with another nice blink, he is out of there. In fact, they'll turn to fight. He revs up the epicenter. They manage to trap 2 here. SCCC gets the jewel off onto Kuroki. Burrow Strike onto 2. The Infernal Blade gets laid down from Microtron. A quick punch from the Tusk. Finishes off the Sand King. Liquid still to take the fight as they get KP as well. A good attempt from Newbee to try and turn it around, but Liquid had the beautiful startup for that one. The snowball all focused on the Warlock. The Doom dropped onto the Juggernaut. Newbee, they were just kind of strangled there around that clutch point, and they couldn't fight back initially. It was a great attempt with the Sand King, but Liquid, as you said it, they're waking up, Sin.
This is the perfect way to take the fight. If they can kill a Warlock like this, the fight is theirs. I think that, again, key items coming out that they make great use of. The first BKB usage here for Miracle is perfect. He can just jump in, feel confident in taking this fight. Ember can't damage him at all yet. Juggernaut was doomed, so he can't deal damage. It's like the fight is well planned, you know? They're going in with a goal. The haunt is well timed. They know exactly what they want to do in the fight, and they just execute. This is so much better than 15 minutes ago. I'm not sure what it was
like
that clicked for them.
It really does.
Maybe they're like, guys, we're about to get knocked out. Let's start playing Dota. And then, okay, I'll play Dota. And then Matsumoman's like, okay, I'll play Dota 90% of the time.
Debated.
Yeah, I guess so.
Liquid really stepping up the plays. Miracle, 20,000 net worth, 5,000 ahead of that.
FTC going bottom.
He is. He may get punished for this, though. The snowball's on him. Okay, he's out of there. So GH is going to be glad that that spell does not continue globally.
That would have been fun.
It would have been quite
Can you
alright.
imagine that?
Imagine.
If it kept gaining in size the whole way.
And in
snowball.
speed.
Yeah, that would be something.
But indeed it doesn't. He's out. 21 for 14. Still, Matsumoman, yeah, as well. He himself very close to pretty much being on the same level as the farm of this Juggernaut. Those last few fights really hurting Newbee.
Miracle is stacked.
I mean, he really is. He's got the Bloodthorn done. He's on his road to the Butterfly.
What's his GPM?
And
It's got to be
Faith is
super high.
almost certainly dead, yeah. There's no way you walk yourself out of that one. 3 touches from Miracle. And they know the ward's there as well, so we'll be able to get the D ward. We'll see if... it's one of those games, you mentioned from the draft, it was always going to be hard for Liquid at the start because it's a greedy draft.
Yeah.
Would you say we're at the point now where the greed is paying off?
Well, they've definitely offset the disadvantage that we're at. They took a couple of key fights that they absolutely needed to, and they won them. And now that their lineup is starting to get ahead, they can itemize what they need in the game. So Doom is going to go for the Blink Dagger so that they can get a good initiation and catch off potentially the Juggernaut or the Legion Commander. Both are excellent Doom targets. I think at this point, you don't really try to Doom the Ember because it's difficult. You get one of the other targets that are easier, and then you play around the Ember with the BKB of TA. Like, if Juggernaut is doomed, there's no way this Miracle TA is going to get killed through BKB. I just don't think so. Even if he gets dueled, KB's just going to lose the duel. He'll get 3-shot. At the same time, the Spectre is starting to pick up as well. We're going to see Matsumoman itemize a lot of health here, going for the straight heart after this Blade Mail. This is a problem now for Newbee. They're running out of damage, I think, because of these lost fights. I like the itemization from Liquid of just going tank style on the Spectre instead of something like a Manta. I think he just needs to try to stay alive with his main and draw as much attention onto himself as possible. Like, let's say they even kill him. It takes so long and costs so much.
They may find Matsumoman here. They scan the high ground. They know that they've got this clear entry up to the top. I was wondering if Matsumoman was going to sweep all the way back to his jungle, but he's staying towards the mid lane. So with that in mind, Newbee, I'm going to find anyone at the end of the day. So good avoidance of the smoke by Liquid. Liquid themselves grouped up and moving down the middle lane. GH in position to potentially dispel any sort of smoke movement from the high ground from Newbee. And Miracle very close to the point where he can frontline.
He has a butter too, almost? What?
He's massive.
What's happening? What's his GP? 750. All right. Still a bit ways to go up to Burning AM.
That's true.
Not going to happen this game. It's pretty much... I don't know if it's mathematically impossible at this point, unless Newbee just beat him 10 kills in a row.
Nah, but yeah, it's possible if people want to start beating.
Do you think Newbee are going to do that?
I don't think so.
Okay, me neither.
They're sensible boys.
Just run down mid and just look at how Newbee's playstyle has changed. This is a team that understands that the complete state of the game is different now. They're playing a lot more passively. They're focusing more on pushing out waves rather than looking for these fights and skirmishes because they don't hold the advantage anymore. SCC will be going for the Shiva, as I was mentioning earlier, will be the right choice in this case, I would imagine. And something we haven't talked about yet that we still need to consider, of course, in this game. At some point, you want to go high ground. And high grounding into Newbee's lineup if no heroes are dead is really, really difficult.
True.
And it's fairly similar to Liquid's lineup. I would say Liquid's defense is actually, no, on second thought, it's significantly worse. Pushing into Slight Chains and Golem and Sand King Stun and the threat of Duel is very, very difficult. Oh, hearing a Doom.
Kaka
See ya, Sand King.
Chased down here by
He
Mind
runs
Control.
pretty fast, actually. Yeah, now he doesn't run anymore.
GH traps him. And with the Warrior's Punch and the stomp there from Mind Control.
Oh,
Liquid
Miracle's
gets the kill.
chasing. He could find a solo pick.
Does he get away with this with this Invis Rune? I mean, he has so much damage on him. Faith being focused first. 1-2. That's the Warlock out with the Horn. They want to move across for more. KP immediately TPs away, though. So Liquid won't find another. But that is the Warlock down. And a big component of Newbee's high ground defensive potential that Liquid could certainly look to try and abuse if they want. The fact that he's now gone for 30.
He does have buyback. They might consider that the Warlock doesn't have buyback right now and go for a play. I think if Liquid try to high ground now, it's going to be a big mistake.
Do you think?
They don't have
Aegis.
Aegis. They don't have Aegis. If they try to go in and just get out a little bit out of position, they're going to lose like 3 or 4, even 5 heroes. Without Haunt, it's still really tricky for them. This is a big item though. Matumba Man, 20 armor, 3200 health on Spectre, starting to prepare his Manta style as the next item. And Liquid must feel a lot more comfortable right now. Now the game is in a state where just farming more on their cores, taking it easier is just fine and favorable for them, probably even. Push out the waves, keep getting items. And also, Dazzle is a really good support late in the game. Like, the later you get into the game, the more important armor gets relative to other things. It's generally, super late game is very often about armor and hard lockdown, just EHP and hard lockdown. Dazzle Weave plus Grave is one of the best support combinations you can have in the late game as spells. So, Liquid, just take it easy for now. And what are Newbee going to do? So I'm a bit uncertain what the play is for them right now. I think they might want to try to play the same style and just wait for the Roshan fight and try to win this one. And if Liquid wants to high ground them, they will gladly be waiting for them at the front door. But they should be losing this game at every minute in terms of economy. This is, of course, one of the advantages of Doom. He's able to...
Well, these two members of Newbee could be in trouble here. Kaka leading with the Burrow Strike. They'll be used to hold one back, but Mind Control's in there with the Blink Doom. They'll put the Horn as well, see if they can find a bonus. They won't get anything more than just the one. Still, it's another kill for Liquid as they really close the gap. And, well, in terms of net worth, just lead massively ahead. SCCC pushing out the bottom lane. Should be quick to get himself out of it. And Dino catch on Matumba. But yeah, as you mentioned, Newbee really are going to be thinking about all the possibilities that they can pull off to get themselves back on top of this game that they were very much so up on top of in the laning stage, in that early game. Once again, though, Miracle with an Invis Rune, potential of finding himself some solo action. KP in the neighborhood. I mean, even with the amount of Miracle does, a Mel Strike and the Bloodthorn
could
bring
just
down
solo
KP.
right
Absolutely.
now. Sees the opportunity. Let's be a bit careful. He saw the same thing on his trap there.
Let's see what he goes for. Does he want to go for any sort of play? He does have backup. But still, yeah, just playing a game of safety. Not wanting to throw anything away. GH, Guardian Greaves now complete. So that, alongside Kuroki's toolset, it's going to be even more terrifying for Newbee to try and defend against when those high ground pushes come through.
SCC going to pressure top out. It's going to be a response immediately from Miracle. And well, Roshan is max respawn time. This is like literally 11 minutes, I think, on the dot, or
yeah,
maybe like plus minus, not plus 3 seconds. That is impossible. Within 3 seconds. And that means it's just going to be more of a farming game. Both teams will want to play around this Roshan for sure. It is the most important objective on the map currently, after the Ancient and the Barracks. Neither of which seem reasonable to even try for either team at this point. Going high ground is pretty difficult this patch. And I kind of have this feeling in this game that this could end up being a really, really long game. Just because...
Yeah, a real back and forth kind of late game. Fair?
Maybe, or just very quiet. It seems difficult. Like, Liquid will try to find picks as they have recently with their haunts, but they're still a bit limited in terms of their catch potential. Oh, maybe not. This could be big. Do they have a ward? Nope. The ward is favoring Newbee.
We have Mind Control trying with a jump in. They have the Hawk and Vision. Kaka's already down to low ground with the Burrow Strike. The Timberland turns towards Faith. They'll take the Warlock out. At least try to. He gets the chance to drop the Chaotic Offering. Faith continues to run. Has the Shadow Word heal as well. He's actually going to be able to keep himself alive here. Now with the Jewel on the Timberman, they'll look to turn, but the damage from Miracle. He rips through one. He rips through two. Unite tries with the Omni Slash, but this jug just does not do enough initially against the power of Miracle's TA. They'll try and slow them down, Faith, from the high ground with the upheaval, but it's Liquid getting the triple kill on Miracle. Newbee forced back up to the high ground. Miracle, is he done yet? No, he's not. Jumps forward. Look at these meld hits. He crits down the Juggernaut. Ultra kill for Miracle. The war is pushed through onto SCCC. Faith gets brought down. They've found themselves a fourth. SCCC stunned up. Remnants out. Remnants back in. Miracle incredibly low. They have to get themselves out, Liquid, but they will do so with ease as the Grave and heals there from Kuroki. Change coming through Miracle, ticking down lower and lower.
Oh,
Very minimal life.
solo.
Again, these heals keeping the team alive and together. High ground Kaka has managed to catch out Mind Control. Miracle questioning whether we can go back in on this one. Has to refracting charges up, looking for a target. There it is. Jumps in, gets Kaka down with the 1-2. Another kill for Liquid. And certainly Newbee are just getting broken apart.
That's so far this has been like a 6 for 0. Just when I said that this game could go late, Liquid find a perfect opening. Just by virtue of getting all this vision out of Haunt, they can find the key targets. And Warlock just dropping his Golem and his Fatal Bonds with almost zero effect by getting caught out every single time by the Spectre is so important for Liquid. And if you're Newbee, you have to pay more attention to your positioning with this lineup. The Warlock needs to be protected somehow. If Warlock is out on his own, gets haunted on, he dies. And they can't afford it anymore. The next fight, there has to be a better Golem and a better Bonds. But the next fight might not. It might be too late. Miracle is absolutely out of control now. 32,000 net worth.
Ahead. It's, you know, something that we mentioned at the start. They needed Miracle to have this sort of a game, Liquid, and he absolutely is. The horns back up. Miracle with the BKB straight in the shards. Traps them all. They bring them down low, but the jewel's there from KP. It doesn't matter, though. The damage is just too high from Liquid. The physical rips them to pieces. GG is called, and we're going to a game 3. Miracle, with the performance that he needed to pull out on this main stage, will manage to take the victory against Newbee. What a performance. Great team play from Liquid. A slow start like we saw in Game 1, but this time Liquid managed to make the greed payoffs in.
I think if Liquid take the right things out of this game and identify what mistakes they made early on and how they can prevent them, this third game could look really, really good for them. I'm very impressed with how they managed to come back after a series of misplays. It looked like they were just going on tilt, making one bad decision after the other, going for impossible plays. And then they find like that small opening, just a little bit of a play that brings their Spectre back into the game, that gets their TA ahead in the game, and more importantly, just seems to bring them together and make them play as a unit. They just needed a bit of, it seemed like they just needed a bit of success in the game.
And they just rode off it beautifully. I mean, Miracle obviously has the numbers at the end of the day, but it was just the way that the team played around him. Kuroki, some incredibly clutch saves and heals, mind control time and time again, and with the Dooms getting the opportune target, we're starting to see why Liquid are so comfortable with picking this up and putting in the offlane. And Matumba, you know, it's again struggled a little bit in the laning stage, not as much in Game 1, but he got his items. It was this big presence in the fight, this haunt that kind of sent Newbee into a bit of a frenzy. They didn't really know how to react, how to turn. They were forced to just kind of cast Chaotic Offering whenever they could, and it wasn't enough, despite how well Newbee played in the early game.
And I feel like a really big difference in this game was how little they got out of the Juggernaut of U9. And I think the primary reason was they couldn't activate him in a similar way to the previous game where they had the Shadow Fiend to couple with him. This time it's an Ember.
It's very
and
different.
If you push towers like that, the dynamic is completely different. Juggernaut didn't get to, if he's the one hitting the towers, he's in a totally different position. He's scared of Doom. So yeah, they made it work. I thought Liquid were going to go out in this one, but they pulled it back. So
I think
game 3.
Yeah, a lot of people would have felt the same way after seeing Game 1, and even just the first 10 minutes of Game 2. But there we have it. Exciting stuff here in Kiev. We'll be having Game 3 from Liquid versus Newbee round the corner. But for now, back to Paul and the panel boys to hear what they have to say about that Game 2.
Yes, thank you very much, Owen. Incredible comeback from Team Liquid, just when you think you can count them out and count your fantasy points for Newbee. You can't do that at all. It's 1-1 in the second series of the day, exactly the same as we had earlier on. It goes to a Game 3. We'll break it down with our panel again once more. Aoi, I want to talk to you first of all. What an incredible comeback from Liquid, because that was such an awful early game.
They was looking really rough. I was sitting there, I was thinking, wow, Newbee is looking so good this game. And then Miracle, he has this buyback at Roche. Kuroko, I think he hit everyone with a weave, and they just crushed them in that fight.
And I think the interesting thing about as well, Ben, early on, it wasn't just that Newbee were playing well. It was the fact that Liquid were playing very poorly. It wasn't necessarily the draft affecting it. It was decision making that was going wrong. It was the dust rolling in 3 seconds too late. It was Miracle getting caught in lane. Everything was going wrong for Liquid that could go wrong.
It was, and then even in this fight, but then my man haunts in and just dies, and they did not need to feed away 2 cores like that, and things were looking very grim. It was
16-2. I know, 20 minutes into the game, 16-2, and you think, well, how do they come back in this?
That first Roche fight, and as AUI said, Miracle, like he was an absolute beast. He managed to stay kind of at least parallel in terms of farm despite the kill score, which I think is a key thing that TA at least allows you to do. So despite how bad things can be going, all it's going to take is one good fight where you get that key initiation off and you get a good blink meld strike, get a kill. They kept killing the Warlock at the start of the fight. Yeah. Stop that kind of offering coming into play, and that really worked wonders for them.
The Dazzle owned.
The
Dazzle pick was
in that
really
last fight
good.
we just saw. He had a sick grave. That Miracle might have had the highest single impact of a player of any game I saw this tournament, but that was probably the best Dazzle I've seen in a long time too.
Definitely.
Everything was clutchable at Dazzle. The weaves did so much damage.
Do you think LC's a little overrated?
I don't know, it's hard to say because I feel like people pick LC for its laning prowess, but in this game the Spectre free farmed. So
the Spectre was really far behind for a lot of the game though.
she free farmed in lane and then they managed to move up and challenge her. But I think when LC excels is when you're starting in his lane from the start. You have that high pressure, you know, and at some point you can't leave your carry alone versus him. In this game they need to like constantly bring more heroes to the LC's lane in order to make him work.
24 kills in the game to Liquid overall. Kuro went 1-2-21.
It was very good kill involvement. I wish the score screen had a way to display like how much damage a weave does, for example, or how much damage it prevents. That'd be really cool to see.
That'd be really hard to program.
I guess it would be, but I
It
guess
would be cool.
the
The
numbers
future.
will be super high in this game for sure.
Well, we saw
Yeah.
the Bane game earlier. It's like how much damage did Enfeeble block that game?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
game that Finn won with that. But yeah, Miracle ends the game with 38k hero damage on TA, 18 kills. Like he like as AUA said, like single-handedly almost turns this game through some of his individual plays.
Yeah, almost 13 solo kills in that game in total. 18-3-5. Had his rampage stolen. Really annoying for those of us that have his in his fantasy team. But GH did pick up the kill as well, and I've got him in my fantasy team as well. So I'm okay with that, actually. I'm all good.
And we get a game 3?
We do get a game 3. Where do we dare think this one might go, considering that was kind of out of left field. We didn't expect that in game 2.
I think the Doom was actually a big issue too. Like Doom
Yeah.
just runs in, and then what do you do?
Yeah.
And not only that, but they're so good at using the vision to always get the Doom on the key target.
Do you think that was the difference later game in this game? After 20 minutes, Liquid prioritizing the right heroes to go on. I mean, Warlock got shut down very early on in a lot of those team fights.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that Kuro actually calls very well as a captain, you know? When a team fight starts, it can get pretty chaotic, but if you talk about it before the team fight, like, you know, this is how we're going to start the team fight. We're going to haunt, we're going to kill this target, and in the middle of the fight you say, focus this guy. All of a sudden, even if it's the wrong target, honestly, if you say focus this guy, your entire team's on the right page, and you're going to team fight better. So that's something that Team Liquid has done. Even in the game they lost, they did very well.
Okay there, Ben?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I was also going to talk to you about MVP, because this might be a bit tough on this one. Do we go with the Kuro Dazzle? Doom was very effective, or was it the Miracle carry?
Probably Miracle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say Miracle.
I'm all
Everyone's also like, it was probably Miracle.
best
I
dazzle
have
we've
to
seen,
give
but
it
it's
to
still
Miracle.
just a dazzle. You know, he's Miracle's the guy.
It feels so
who-
bad saying that though, right? Because like the cores always get the MVP, even though the supports have just as much impact in the games.
Nah, you know,
But-
Kuro needs to go play mid then if he wants MVP. He's, you know, that's his problem. He's not playing mid. He's the captain. He can.
Okay,
do
so
that.
Miracle MVP.
Yes.
All
Yeah, I
right,
think
we'll settle on Miracle for the MVP, and Kuro just gets the choice of going mid or not in his next game. I'm not sure that's even an option where he's sitting from right now. But again, when you look back on the draft, 2 of you decided that this was not going to be Liquid's day based on the second draft.
Well,
What was the difference? Sorry, guys.
No,
what
it's
was
okay.
the difference in the way that turned around?
they want to fight inside the Roche pit. It was.
I mean, was it just that? I mean, because you were so sure in terms of the way that they drafted, but
they didn't play that well, I think, in the first game, and
Yeah.
in the second game they also weren't playing well for the first 20 minutes of the game, and then
do you
they
think
won.
just turned a switch on, didn't they?
Yeah.
Just went, you know what, we're on the verge of going out. Let's just have some fun.
When the hour is darkest.
Maybe.
I think something that we missed on the analyst panel is that Newbee's draft just, Cinder mentioned it, but the way they hit towers is very awkward.
Right.
This Juggernaut is a hero that you need to get his Omni Slash off, you need to get the spin off, but if he's the only one who can hit a tower on the team, it just feels so bad pushing. He's going to get Blink Doomed, he's going to get sharded into the tower or something, and Liquid were able to abuse that. They were able to take the fights they wanted because they knew they had the vision advantage in this game. They knew that they could keep TA traps around, they use a Haunt for vision, and TA just farmed up a Storm, even though they were losing. What was it, 16-2?
Yeah.
Like, Miracle was up
16-2,
there.
20 minutes in.
And I don't know. It was pretty impressive to see.
Yeah.
That was like a high-level pub game, to be honest. Like, your team's down 20-2, but you're the highest net worth, and that's what Miracle was doing this game.
Yeah. Okay. Game 2, obviously, going to Team Liquid does take us to Game 3, and we will be heading to the draft fairly shortly. Before we get there, why don't we take some social media questions from the many that you have been posting on both Facebook and Reddit over the last few days. Thank you very much for all of those. Does SEC's military background reflect in his playstyle? I don't know if it reflects in his playstyle. Definitely inside the booth, from what we've seen. Does it reflect in his playstyle?
I wouldn't know how I would recognize that.
Yeah.
Someone who does not
he
have a
march
military
down
background.
mid? Does he march down
Yeah.
mid, salute, and then shoot his opponent? I don't know.
That's a question for Cat, maybe.
It'd be way more easy to tell if it was a role that you just I think follow orders. Like if you go in and
Right.
die and it's very obvious that you went in and died because you had to,
Yeah.
then I think more so. But cores don't usually sacrifice themselves like that,
Quite.
at least not mid laners.
Mm-hmm.
If you were off lane, maybe you could see. But
From what Ben said, I'd say no. Like, SEC actually isn't the sacrificial player on his team.
Right.
He's a player that they play around, though.
Yeah.
They need him. They generally, when Newbee was having success, it was because they last picked his hero. He would have a good lane matchup. They would play around him, and then he could follow through in the mid game by making a lot of calls. And I don't really know what military playstyle means, but if it's
Nor
like
do I.
following orders, like dying for the cause, I don't think that's SCCC.
Yeah. Okay. Well, following orders from the captain, maybe.
He is, yeah. He's more the
He
captain
might be
in
the
that.
captain.
I
in
hope
that
he follows
analogy.
his captain's calls, but I think that for most players.
I was going to say, I
like
don't
pretty
think
much
you need a
everyone.
military style to do that in every team, do you? Interesting question. Yeah, but in terms of in the booth, I think, he's the shouty one, isn't he? We said that earlier. He is motivating inside that booth.
looks like he's screaming all the time.
Yeah.
We've got a few quiet players on the team, like KP, even
Right.
Faith. Like he used to be a drafter kind of captain, but he's still a fairly quiet player in the booth and during the game. So I think it helps that he is as vocal as he is.
Right. Peps them up. All right, let's take another question as we head towards the third and final draft in this series. It's gone all the way once more. Pick one player from each region to form an all-star team and name it. Well, there's 4 of us right now, so I guess
Each get one region.
could we do? There's kind of 6 regions now. It's a bit tougher.
Disclaimer.
We have to get 5.
We
so
hate
do we,
these type of questions.
I know.
Yeah.
Let's include America. So we do North and South. All right. Europe can be 1. CIS can be 1. China and SEA. How's that? 5?
Sure.
Gods gets the extra one because he knows a lot more about SEA than
Can
any
he
of
just
us.
do all 5? I think when he asks these type of questions, it's like you don't know how players are going to play together. Like this,
It's
even
for
this
fun.
Liquid.
It's fantasy.
Yeah,
You've done fantasy picks.
I suppose, but like this Liquid team is like, oh man, these players are godly. They're all 9K, and then you see them potentially losing. Oh, they almost lost 0-2 right then.
Yeah.
All right, I
So-
got a way to do this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Kurt, you've got a different perspective. Who would
I'm-
you want to play with? Who would you
I-
choose
I'm
your team?
Opening up my
This is where
leaderboards.
he throws out his...
Leaderboards number
I'm
1.
opening up the leaderboards. I'm going to go through this. Give me a second. I got this.
Okay.
Okay, there's Flea. Francis Lee, very good, North America.
All right.
Mid 1.
Okay.
In Your Dream.
All right.
He's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And I don't know who this Ihong Shi guy is.
Oh, don't know.
He's 9.3K in China, which is
Okay.
extremely
Sign
high.
him up.
So that's 4. And I'll take
This is
Red Eye.
only so we can play.
Nice.
Only so we can play
Yeah.
Pugner Windrunner. That's the only
Yeah.
reason he wants me. I mean, in all seriousness, right? Someone record that, put it on YouTube, then put it on Reddit for the karma, and say new NP lineup announced on show. You'll get away with it. I trust me. Gods SEA. Let's just think about 5 great players in the SEA region
SEA?
right now. Yeah.
Probably Ice.
Yeah.
He's the
Raven?
one that stands out. Raven, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Mid 1?
I don't know.
ZSEA now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
how does
sort
it
of.
count?
Count of.
Like,
well, he's from that region.
Abed's NA, right? I get to.
How is that NA?
Because he's playing on DC. He's NA.
Oh, for crying out loud! I thought we got over this.
Isn't this how it works?
And they will claim anyone they can to look good. We haven't got over this, Paul.
So how many NA players are here again? Is it like 5
It's
or
at least
something?
half of them.
16 times 5. That's how
Right,
many we have.
okay.
Anyone that wins.
Okay, so 78 NA players at the Kiev Major.
Something like
I'm
that.
either not good at maths or there's some rule in there somewhere that makes everyone an NA player. I don't know what. Anyway, enough of the nonsense. Thank you very much for the questions. Do keep them coming. Would love to hear more as we go through the day. Let's look ahead to draft number 3. Ben, what do you want from Newbee to counter this comeback from Liquid? You don't want to give them too much momentum to get away with this.
I think I like what Curtis mentioned about them being able to hit towers.
You don't feel like they have much push?
Not versus their lineup, because Jug can't put himself in a position. He wants to be there to follow up with a healing ward once Doom comes out, and then go in with Omni Slash, right? And he was not able to do that.
Yep.
And Ember really couldn't go in there too. I feel like a large part because of the Doom. From Liquid's side, we talked about them having 3 very, very greedy cores, which didn't need to optimize, but it certainly
Could've,
looked like
though,
it
couldn't
should
it?
have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
And it's been 2 greedy picks in a row.
Yeah, but the late game secured, right? It's really hard to break high ground. So if they don't have a good tower hitter, you can get away with that. But if they do, maybe you have to just go like 2.5 or a big playmaker on the 3.
As you can see, they're coming back out to the booth right now. I have to say, they look in a much better mood than they did at the end of the first game, that's for sure. Weight lifted off the shoulders, it seems.
So I just want to say, like, Liquid's been picking these greedy lineups. Newbee's been seeing 2 greedy lineups in a row. I think there's only 3 real ways you can deal with greed. The first one is you can get a lot of pick-off, so that when they're being greedy, you can kill them. The second one is you can push them down. And the third is you can simply out-greed them. I think for Newbee, I'd like to see a combination of the first 2. I think that Newbee's lineup, like, they had a lot of team fight last game, but if you don't have any way to force these fights, like Ben said, if you don't have this push to force these fights, then they're just going to dodge you. And then they're going to wait till you're in a bad position and they can take the fights on their terms. And playing Dota like that, it makes it easy for a team like Team Liquid to play. I think you want to make Team Liquid feel uncomfortable. I think they have a style that they're very good at. You know, they'll play Naga with some Legion Commander, will pick you off using the split push and pressure. But they haven't looked as solid playing any other style than that. So Newbee should throw them off the game.
So you think they should get in their face, a bit like Mouse did against IG right from the start? They really got under their skin?
Yeah, I think so. Newbee's shown that their early game has been much better than Liquid's. It's really like in the mid game when you're farming and picking people off that Team Liquid start to shine. And I think the easiest way to beat something good later on in the game is just to make it so it never happens earlier.
Right.
Like Death Prophet from Team Secret.
Sure.
I like that a lot. And I think they should continue to use Team Secret strategies because they are one of the most successful teams in the tournament. And they employ a wide variety of strategies. And when they see a lot of greed like this, they will just push you down in 20 minutes and you'll be like, we went too many Midases or we had too many greedy heroes or something like that. I'm not sure if they're that adventurous to do so, but I think it could. Do you want to do it in your potentially last game?
The thing is, it's not far from Newbie style, right? Like game
Definitely
1, I would say game 1, they had a pretty, if they could not push, they could not win that game. That's how I felt. They had decent heroes, but their heroes needed the map to open up by pushing these tier 1s and tier 2s. So maybe not as all in as like we're saying on this panel right now, but they definitely need something that push pressure on Liquid.
Looks like Sir Action Slacks has gone all in with the crowd right now. Is he signing stuff and grabbing some photo with the fans down there? It's good to see. And plenty of fans in the audience as well for Newbee. Plenty of support for Liquid. I saw a few Liquid shirts earlier on as well. And it does look like the crowd are returning to their seats. The 2 teams have done exactly that, and they are in to draft